second. Uh, Coincidence with the real time stories, which we have real world stories. So let's have a quick glance of what we did, and then we'll continue with where we left. Okay, so it started with SDLC. Then we went through all the phases, starting from planning till maintenance, and then we went through each phase in detail with the activities which was carried out, right from planning, analysis, design, development, testing, deployment, and maintenance. And again, what all artifacts which we create in each phase of SDLC, what all important documents we cover, and till last phase, that is maintenance phase, what all things we cover. So in addition to this, in addition to the SDLC methodology, so whatever we have covered, and we covered till this slide, that is the different methodologies or models which are supported. So till this, from phase 1 to phase 7, this is overall SDLC, which is a concept which is followed by most of the companies. But to implement SDLC, we have just give me 1 second. Okay, so till this slide we covered SDLC in detail, and then we start last last discussion or last session. So to implement SDLC, you have different. Can someone confirm if I am audible?
Yes, yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, sure. Okay, so we covered till this all the phases of SDLC, which is common across all the companies. Most of the software companies they follow these standards or this concept or this methodology. But to make it more clear for companies or even in software, we follow different models. So if you want to implement SDLC or if you want to create any software, apart from the phases which we studied, there are so many models which are already in place, and these are followed by so many different companies. So if you see this SDLC methodology slide, there are different models which are in place to implement or to create software or to create a product, and every company uh, work on any of these model. I mean, they can follow any of these model, or they will have their own customized model based on the SDLC phases which we studied. So some of the models, some of the very popular models in software is waterfall. This is the most old model in the industry, and it was followed by many companies. Most of the companies followed this model. We'll go through this in detail. Then we have spiral model, which is again customization of SDLC. Then there is V model, rapid application development model. We have extreme programming. That is one of the model which is also used. And then at last we have agile. So uh, uh, the objective of this session is to go more deep into agile methodology, and then we will go through selective models on this slide. So going ahead, we'll go with waterfall. Waterfall is the model which I said is most old model, and which is quite parallel or quite quite a different model, or it's the same model which we saw just like SDLC, and it implements similar phases which we discussed in last session also. So it's a sequential based uh, model where we have activities which happens one after the another. So if you see these phases like requirement analysis, design, coding, testing, operations, or implementation and maintenance, these happens after one is covered. So for example, if we start with one phase, that is requirement gathering, that is first phase in the model or in this life cycle. Once this phase is completed, then only analysis phase starts. So we are not going into detail of every phase, but now if you consider requirement gathering, this is requirement gathering from client and then adding in a proper format. uh, Once requirement analysis is done, we have all the requirements in place. Those will be the final requirements. So in waterfall model, we don't move back to phase again in life cycle. So once requirement gathering is over, then we don't revisit the requirements again. So those requirements are final. Once this is done, we go for analysis, as we saw in the SDLC phase. uh, Analysis is analysis of requirements which were given by client, and then there is a design or prototype prepared. There are models which are prepared for database, for architectural design, and so on. So this is the phase where we prepare all the model based on the requirements or analysis which is done, and then coding is again development. So based on the models which are designed in design phase, these models are developed, and these models are implemented using the coding or development phase. Once this is done, then we move for testing phase. Again, the testing of software which is created, and then operations or maintenance and release of that software to customer, and then maintenance of that software takes place. So this happens in a sequential manner, and this is first SDLC model which is used widely in most of the projects which are handled. Okay, so this is what a waterfall model is, and we are not going into more details of this model, but this is how all the phases happens one after another, and there is no way that we are going to move back to any phase in any at any stage of life cycle of software. So whatever is done is done, and we are going to move ahead with all the phases. Okay. So this is one of the model. We will again revisit when we compare agile with waterfall. But now, for now, these are basics of waterfall model, and this is how it happens. So this is one of the most popularly used model. Then we move to next model, which is spiral model. Again, the fundamentals of SDLC remain same across the models. So the phases are similar to what we compare with SDL when we compare with SDLC, but there might be few additions, there might be few customizations, or the process might get tailored in some of the models. Okay, so we saw waterfall model. The phases are similar to what we see in what we saw in SDLC. Now, when we move to spiral model, this is a kind of model. This is a unique model where it provides risk management. So this is the main component of SDLC model. It provides risk management, and that is the unique advantage over all the other models. And if you see, it starts with from this. So it starts with say this point, and then it reiterates again same processes or same phase follow in each loop. So say this is the first loop, then again it will move to second loop, and then again it will move to the last loop. In this way, it will cover in each phase, or in each phase of release. In each release, it will have same phases like risk management, prototypes, Design, coding, integration, testing, and implementation. These are the same phase, except that it has additional way of risk management. Now, risk management is again quite a big term in software industry, and we require some additional sessions to understand what is risk management actually is. But when we say risk management is nothing but whenever you are doing whenever doing any kind of project, or whenever you are taking risks which are associated with there are some risks which are related to project. There are some risks which are related to resources, risks which are related to unclear requirements. So there are a number of ways in which risks can be identified, and we prepare a template, which is a risk analysis template, and there is a separate phase which is known as risk mitigation and management. So whenever you see any risks, you need to highlight that risk, you need to document that risk, and then you need to prepare a plan to handle that risk. So, for example, risk can be an engineer or a tester working on a project which is in progress. He resigns from the organization, and then uh, there is a risk because we if we are not able to identify uh, a different person with same skill set, that is going to be a risk. Or it can be technological risks, like we have a technology change which is happening. So there are say for example, if you know Java, you have JDK and JRE. So it changes every year. So every now and then they releases patches for the software, and it might happen that the software which you are building is on old technology, which is not going to be carried forward. So it might happen that your software work on Java 8, and the latest in market is Java 17. It may not work on Java 17. That is what the client is expecting. So that is again a risk, and then you need to revisit the risk. You need to understand how you are going to resolve, or how you are going to mitigate the risk. So this is coming under project management. Prototype, you already know that whenever you want to create any software, you need to create a prototype. Prototype is kind of a small maybe example, or maybe a wireframe uh, of your page which you are creating. Or different softwares, they have different pages, or they have different prototypes where you can show that the way the software will look like, or maybe UI of the software, a user interface of the software will look like. So that is again, you build a prototype, you show to client, and you just confirm with them. So this might, and again, all the other phases, if you see, from prototypes till implementation are same, which we see in waterfall model also. But the main advantage here is the loop of each loop of this spiral is one phase of software development, which is starting from risk management and till implementation. So you repeat these phases till you get a proper version of software, or a proper release of software, till you release that software to customer. So this is how it works. And if you see this cumulative cost, it keeps on increasing day by day, and then this is how it works. So if you see, it is based on this spiral. Each iteration is a spiral representing complete development life cycle, starting from requirement gathering till implementation. And the unique thing about spiral model is risk handling or risk management. That is how it differs from the other models. This is also a popular model if used correctly. Then the next model which we will go through is a V model. Again, V model. Why V model? Name V model is because it has verification and validation at each phase. So if you see on the left side of this diagram, it has requirement design, then system design, architecture design, modular design, that is coding, again coding. And then on the right side, you see unit test, integration test, system test, acceptance test. So this is, on left side it is verification, and on the right side it is validation phase. So whatever you see on the left side is more from development point of view. Whatever you see on the right side, these are validation phases. So whatever whatever document or whatever prototype or requirements or code which is done by development, it is mapped to an equivalent phase for testing as well. So if you have requirement design document or say requirement design phase, then you have acceptance test to confirm or to validate. Oh, 1 second. Yeah. So if you see, for each phase of development activity, you have a testing activity or you have a validation activity. It might be related to customers. So there are number of tests which you do. So testing wise, what we saw in last session, we have different kind of testing phases also. Like unit testing is nothing but testing a unit or component which is developed by software developed by developers. So to confirm that his code or his unit works fine, he need to write unit test cases, or he need to confirm or he need to do unit testing. That is what is known as unit test. Then only he can say that his module is working fine. For architecture, so architecture is nothing but you have integration of different components which you see, uh, these components interact with each other, and then to confirm that the architecture is working fine, you need to understand or you need to create integration test between two components. Then again, there are so many ways in which these integration tests can be done. uh, it will depend on the strategy which is applied for testing. Then system test, which is related to system design. Whatever design is there or whatever design documents you receive based on the system, you will cover those under system test, mainly done by testers in the organization. And then last is acceptance test. So acceptance test is mostly done by customers or clients once your software is ready, and they will definitely revisit the requirements which they gave to you. So in the first phase of any model is interaction with customers and then writing the requirements or collecting the requirements from customer. So whenever customer performs acceptance test, they confirm that whatever they gave as requirements, those are covered correctly in the software, and then they validate it with help of acceptance test. So they might come back to us saying that it is not working as per the requirements. So that is how you have verification and validation inside V model. Again, what we discussed is all three models: waterfall, spiral, and V model. These can be customized based on the project or the product or company. So they can customize in their own way and they can implement their own model also. But at least we have gone to few models which are there, which are standard models, and then so that's it. So what we have right now is we have covered SDLC. What is SDLC and different phases of SDLC methodology, and then we have different models which cover SDLC and how the models are structured. Okay. Any question on this before we move ahead? Any question from anyone? Okay. So if there are no questions, I think you can ask questions at last also. That's not a problem. But let's go to next slide. So this is what we have for SDLC. This covers SDLC and maybe overview of few models which we just saw. And now we'll move ahead with Agile, where we compare the waterfall model which we went through with Agile or Scrum, and what are the disadvantages, what are advantages, and we will go in detail of Agile methodology. So we'll start with Agile. Yeah. So before we start with Agile, what we studied is waterfall model. Now, what we discuss is from requirement analysis till maintenance. Now, waterfall model is a sequential model, and it might happen that whatever has been developed, the customer might not know or might not have the idea on what is being developed, because there is no real time feedback which is received in each phase. Or say for example, there is a project which starts and it has duration of 1 year, then customer is not going to get the software, or he is not going to see the real software till maybe 10 months or 11 months. The problem here is customer is not having any idea, or customer feedback is not received on frequent basis. So customer might not know most of the areas which are developed, and he might not know how it is developed. Again, there are few pitfalls on for waterfall models that developer, when he is doing the implementation, or when he is doing the development, he always thinks of new technologies. Like what I said is, there are few technologies which always keeps on changing, or they are always updated. So it might happen that developer always think of the new technologies, and he might always change the code. Then the PM. So there are so many roles which we saw in SDLC also. There are roles like you have business analyst, we have project managers, we have engineering team, that is a development team, we have testing team, then implementation team, and support team like maintenance team. So PM is project manager. He always thinks of deadlines. So whatever by when the customer wants it, that becomes a deadline for PM or for the project team, and then they always thinks of deadline. What should be the deadline? Then the analyst who creates the documents like system requirements documents or requirement specifications, he always thinks that he got everything from customer, and then it might be possible that he has not correctly got all the requirements. So it might happen that he might have gone the requirement he might have got requirements 50% wrong, or 50% different than what customer expected. So when it goes to timeline, the developer who is doing the implementation of the requirements which are specified by business analyst, he will assume that he can do the job in 3 months. This is just an example of what can happen, and he will say that we can do it in 3 months. PM will say that no, the requirements are like this, we can do in 2 months. And the project might take 4 to 5 months because of all these things which are happening with different ways of assumptions. So now the problem with this is timelines keeps on increasing, and we never know by when the project will be developed or the software will be developed correctly. Okay. So now the project story. So first month when we start development, everyone is happy, but customer sees something which is okay at the second month. Then say for example in the third month, customer is making so many changes, and say he wants this and this. He wants the requirements to be changed. So at first, the customer gives some requirements, and then he comes back in third month and he says that uh, there are some changes in the requirement. I want these requirements in place. Now, it might happen that timelines are delayed, and then you need to rework, and there are blames which are done across the projects. So this is again a story. This is not a real time picture, but this is a kind of story which can happen in a project. So this happens because you don't have clear understanding of requirements at the beginning, where you do this requirement analysis phase, and then the requirement, as we said here, in third month the requirement changes, and during the process, and with the new tools and technologies, this process become always unpredictable. So the time taken and how the software developed becomes unpredictable. Now this story might not be same, but this happens most of the time, that this takes long process for customer to see what has been built, and it is time consuming. And you see the product, or you see the software being developed, or customer gets a software at very late stage. So that is the main problem. These are the main pain areas when we follow a waterfall model, a sequential model. Now, to overcome this, we might go with agile. So, what is agile? So, agile is a process. So, agile is not a word which is only related to software. It can be followed in any industry. So, it can happen that to make process or product of any company, to make it faster, or to have a product as per the customer's guidelines or requirements, we keep on getting customer feedback, and then we make the product as per the customer's requirement. So it is nothing but which allows a team to more efficiently manage a project by breaking down. This statement is very important, because breaking down into several stages, what we saw in waterfall is we have just one set of requirement and we go ahead with it as final requirement. Now, when you are breaking the requirements in several stages, each stage or each phase, we will have constant or consistent collaboration with all the stakeholders. So when we say stakeholders, it can be project managers, it can be development team, testing team, customer, and everyone, to promote steady improvements at every stage. So you will have, say, you will have 10 requirements. You divide those requirements into different stages, and then you keep covering those requirements. Say, for example, if you have 10 requirements, you divide them in a group of two requirements, and then you work on those two requirements. So the software lifecycle will happen at every stage of these two requirements. So for these two requirements, you develop, you build, you show to customer, you have customer feedback, improve. Second stage, again, you have again the next two requirements, you develop, you test, you show demo to customer, take his inputs, go ahead. So this is how it works. You divide your requirements, or you divide or manage a project in such a way it moves with different say different uh, stages, or several stages, right? So to do this, now we'll not go more theoretical. Let's go ahead and let's see some examples of how agile happens in real world. So say for example, the restaurant orders, so preparation of some of the food before opening the shop, say sprint planning. So this will go in detail in next few phases, but let's see where we add agile process, so to make it faster. So most of the times restaurants open at say 10 in morning or 9 in morning, and even before that the preparation for food starts. So that is again to make it faster. Then continuous delivery of order, ad hoc stories. So for example, you will have always continuous delivery of orders in a shop. Or so for example, if you are even ordering your food from Zomato or Swiggy, you will definitely going to get the orders in 30 minutes or 40 minutes, whatever. And there is a continuous delivery of orders from the restaurant, be it in a restaurant or be it outside restaurants. Then you have number of successful orders in a day. So whatever, there are 100 orders placed by customers, and then we have 100 order delivered. So we'll see these things when we go into detail. But these are some of the examples where we have agile process or agile model applied to day-to-day activities. Similarly, in cricket team, so run rate. If you see, there is if you are aware of cricket, how it works, you will have a run rate for each say innings, and then you will have team a cricket team, which is can be a team of software. Then you have an over of six deliveries. Then you have captain or coach. These are kind of rules. So some of these examples, those are ceremonies which happens in agile. Some of these are like metrics. Some of these are team players, and some of these again are sprint length is again duration or timeline. So let's go into more detail of understanding how agile is working over the. Maybe we'll go to this slide at last, so that we'll understand the agile first or scrum first, and then we'll go ahead with the comparison of what how it works. So these are the some of the examples of agile. So what we have is agile is a process, or it's a method, and there are so many so many different methodologies or examples which implements agile process itself. So if you go through this slide, there is a scrum methodology, then we have lean, we have kanban, extreme programming, and then there are a few more, but most popular is scrum and lean and kanban. So we'll go through scrum in this session, and we'll understand how the scrum works. Okay. So moving ahead, so scrum framework is nothing but it's a collection of roles, ceremonies, and artifacts. So roles are nothing but the roles which are played by different workers which are there in software industry or software project. The roles might be different. We'll go into detail of this again. Ceremonies are nothing but the meetings which are happening whenever we have scrum. uh, and again, then we have artifacts which are documents, nothing but. So scrum is a word which is derived from rugby. So whenever the the players start with their play, they hurdle each other, and they may form a hurdle and then they move. So that is known as scrum. Scrum is the word derived from that only. Then again, scrum is invented long back in 1995 by, I think, two Japanese scientists, and then they derived it further. So it's not specific to software, but it is used in many industries as well. So first we'll go through the rules of which we follow in scrum. So scrum is nothing but same way what we saw in agile. So it's a unit, or it's a process which where we follow a sprint, or would say a duration, and we convert our requirements, or we have different requirements, then we minimize the requirements, we divide them in group of requirements, and we cover them one by one. So it might happen that we have different teams or different scrum teams which are working on different requirements, and it might happen that same team is working on requirements one by one. So it's a group of people. We divide people into different groups, and then it becomes scrum. And then we follow a sprint. Sprint is nothing but a cycle which we follow, and then we'll look into more detail. So let's go into detail of scrum, how the scrum framework is structured. So it is based on the roles, which I think the roles is very straightforward. In any software industry, you have roles like developer, tester, then you have business analyst, you have product owner, and again you have scrum master. So these are the four main roles which are there in any scrum. So let's go into roles one by one. So now, what is a product owner? So product owners is so if we have a product, say if you want to develop a software, or say a product, which can be any product, any website, any booking site, or any internet banking site, which can be related to any domain. So product owner is normally a person who has in-depth knowledge of several domains. It might be financial industry, it might be healthcare industry, it might be banking, or it might be infrastructure. Product owner is normally a person who has in-depth knowledge of the technology and product wise also. So domain wise, he has best knowledge in the industry. So what happens is product owner is mostly responsible to define features of a product. So features of a product is similar to what, say, reservation website. So if you want to book a hotel, you just want to understand how hotel booking works. So hotel booking, you if you go to any site, like Make My Trip or Yatri or anything, you will have options of adding the customers number of people there. Then you have dates, and then you have where you want to, which area you want to cover in India, say India or outside India. So specific specific dates, specific people with specific location, you can search with different options. So you can search with these different options. Then you will come to a page where you can select hotels based on the ratings or based on their features or reviews. So so the person who is, say, for example, if you want to develop a software which is related to hospitality industries or hotel industry, which is mainly hotel booking application, then product owner is the one who has best knowledge of what should be the features of a software. So these are nothing but searching searching by several parameters, searching for hotels, then looking at the search, going into each hotel and understand the features which are provided or the amenities which are provided by each hotel, then their rates and their room types and so on. And then you have a facility to select that hotel, and then you need to book that hotel using a third party website. You can make a payment and you should get a message that the hotel is booked. So these are nothing but features of any software. So the software will have their own features, and product owner should have good understanding of the features. So features are mainly derived from the user requirements which are gathered in the first phase, that is requirement gathering phase. Then so he is the one who defines the features of the product is nothing but a software. Then he decide on the release date. So whatever date uh, the software needs to be released or software needs to be provided by customer, that becomes a release date. And then the content of software, what is going to be released on specific date. And he is responsible for overall profitability of the product. So return on investment, this is how whenever customer buys or customer asks for any product, he when he implements it in his own organization, then he need to have some profit. So that profit, he is responsible for, mainly responsible for how much profit the customer is going to get when he has that this product or software. Then once you have all the features in place, this person needs to prioritize features according to market value. So you need to understand the market, you need to understand the domain, and then he need to prioritize the features based on the market value. Then as per the as needed, he we need to understand the priority and features every iteration. So let's go to another slide to understand this, because this will be easier. So if you consider this diagram, if you see what we were discussing, we have a process in place. This is our Scrum is what we have seen in another slide. We have roles, we have events which are taking place, we have artifacts. So we were discussing about the product owner who is overall managing the list of features. And then how it works is, if we go down, so what we saw is requirement gathering phase. The requirement gathering phase is ideas. These are nothing but the requirements, and the requirement we get from the customer. We format them in a kind of document or in a kind of list of items or list of features, which is nothing but product backlog. And then we go ahead with this. These activities happens one by one, and then we deliver the product. So this is how it happens. These are the nothing but how the Scrum works. And we were discussing about the product owner. So product owner is nothing but who is responsible to get this product backlogs, to have all the ideas, and to prioritize what will happen in every sprint. So we'll understand what is sprint also. But this is a feature. This is a kind of role which we have, different roles which we have in a Scrum. Then again, he can accept or reject the results as well. Going ahead, we have another role which is known as Scrum Master, and this is very popular in market because this is the person who is responsible for interacting with all the roles. Product owner, it can be tester, it can be development team, or it can be anyone who is inside that Scrum. So he is the one who represents the management to the project, and then he's interacting with all the roles, and he follows the Scrum values and practices, and he is on the person who is responsible that the team is functioning, the team roles, different roles are functioning as per their responsibilities, and they are productive also. So he is the main person who is overviewing all the things inside a scrum. And then again he need to have a close cooperation or close interaction with all the roles and functions. And then there might be external interferences which are coming from external world to the team, and he should need to block those from the team. So this he's the main person who runs the scrum, and his responsibility is like this. Then now coming back to team, so we have team or we have development team, which is the main team who is working on this project or product and or software. And this team comprises of again the different roles, like we have developers, we have testers, we have UI designers, and we have database designers also in this. So this is a cross functional team. So they have their own skill set, and they have their own skills which they need to implement inside the scrum. And these members are again full time, they are self organizing, so there is no so it might happen that some of these teams, one person is doing role of development, and again he is doing the role of tester as well. So it might happen the titles are not driven by, I mean it is not driven by title, but it is responsibility of each person to do the task which is there for him. And then this team is the main team, or these are the development team or testing team, these are the main parts of scrum who are performing or who are doing technical work. Okay, so this is how we have roles which are different roles in a scrum framework. And these are the main roles which happens anywhere. If you go anywhere in the market, these are the roles which are there in any scrum framework. Any questions on this, or anything which anyone wants to understand or anyone wants to uh, ask?
No, sir, it was much clear.
Yeah, so we are going to what is the sprint. So that is there, which is coming now. Any other questions related to roles before going into sprint? Anything which you do not get, like product or product owner or scrum master, or the team roles which are there. These are specific to these PPTs which we covered, which were specific to roles. So we will cover sprint in next PPTs. Anything which you want to ask, anything which you don't understand, or if you want to have a practical example, we can go ahead with it also. So this is more theoretical. When we go ahead with one project and examples of how the different roles are, how the documents, how the user stories are prepared, which role is responsible for what, then you will understand in detail. But this is more theoretical point of view. So this might be not that easy to understand. But still, if you have any doubts, you can ask. Okay, so let's move to next section, which is again sprint planning. Now, first we need to understand what is a sprint. Okay, so sprint is nothing but a duration of 2 weeks, or it can be a duration of 3 weeks or 4 weeks. So this is a session, or you can say this is a timeline duration, or this is a team which is working under sprint. Sprint is nothing but uh, whenever you have these roles, these activities, and these artifacts are combined in a space of time, then it is known as sprint. So what we normally do, maybe I can show you something related to sprint, then you will understand. Okay, one second. Let me try to send somewhere. Okay, so let me go through this PPT. One second. Okay, so wherever we have sprint, actually sprint is a duration of, so it's a time duration, time bound activity where all these stakeholders will come up and they will perform or they will work on specific requirements. So requirements are nothing but features, and those features those are finalized by a product owner and a scrum master. So once these are finalized, these are nothing but features, then you will have sprint in place. So we need to create a sprint in a tool which can be Jira or Trello. And then again, it will have a start date and it will have an end date. One second, let me check if I have that open. Okay, I think we'll cover that in next session where we will create sprint also, and I will show you how to create a sprint. But sprint is nothing but a time bound activity in which we cover all these things like we have this second. So sprint is nothing but, if you see this blue circle, what happens is sprint is a collection of say features which we are going to implement, or the collection of user stories or the features we are going to implement, which we are going to develop, which we are going to test, and then we will implement those. So this is done in a way that this is again following this circle. It is following the SDLC. So it is nothing but you will get some requirements and then you implement those requirements, and this cycle continues. So you will have sprint 1, sprint 2, sprint 3, sprint 4. So you will have some requirements for sprint 1, where you will cover some requirements, you will deliver the product, some components, and then you will increment. Then again, you will go for sprint planning. You will have some more requirements. Say first set of requirements we covered in sprint 1. We'll create a sprint in a tool, and then then we add the requirements to that sprint. Then again, we'll go ahead, we will have all these ceremonies, then we'll come back. Then again we will have set of requirements, that is second set. We'll again implement those requirements in this sprint, second sprint. Again this will increment, again will deliver, and again this will continue till we have all the requirements covered. So that is how a sprint is implemented. And then we have so many ceremonies which are there inside sprint, so many activities which are taking place. So this is how a sprint works. And we should will show maybe a live demo of how project is split into requirements, what a product owner does, then what is a scrum master does, how the requirements are implemented, what are different artifacts which are covered. So we'll cover all this in a live session with Jira. Okay. And then, so let's go to the second session, that is ceremonies. The second part of the session is ceremonies, which is whenever you want to create a sprint or you want to implement a sprint, you will have sprint planning session. So sprint planning, if you see, sprint planning is nothing but you will select few items from the product backlog. Product backlog is nothing but uh, the product features which are added by product owner, and then those features are only completed can be only completed in a sprint. Say for example, if you have product owner, he will select, say for example, an example can be, you have to implement a vacation planner and you need to see the photos of hotels, like what we discussed in last example. You need to search certain hotels based on your filter. You will have certain criteria of hotels. What will happen is you will have some user stories, or you will have certain tasks which are created as part of this activity or as part of this feature. And then these will be divided into technical areas. Like what you see is, you will have some coding activities, that is coding of say UI. You are creating a UI, then you are writing test cases, there are test fixtures, then you create some classes and you are doing some testing. There is a performance testing, which is the kind of different tests which are specific to this product feature. So when you start with sprint planning, what you do normally is you will understand whatever the capacity of your team is. So you may have capacity of 10, or you may capacity of 5, out of which you have one developer, one tester, one product owner, one scrum master, and so on. So this comprises of team capacity. Whatever capacity or whatever available resources you have will be an input to sprint planning. Then you will have product backlog. So these will carry all the features. This is again an artifact. So this will carry, or this will have all the product features which are finalized by product owner, who is the owner of all the product features. So this will be then business conditions. So what are the different conditions, or what are the different business conditions which should be applied to these requirements? Those are also there. Your current product, you may have your current product in place, and then you might want to enhance this product, or you might want to enhance, or you might want to maintain your software. And the technology can be anything. So a software can be implemented using different technologies. So if you are aware, there are so many programming languages which are there, like Java, you have .NET. So if you want to build a user interface, you can use any technology of your choice. But this will be finalized by based on the organization or project you are working. So these are the factors which are affecting the sprint planning meeting. So if you see in this slide, after you finalize, the first step is ideas, then product backlog. So you will have this product backlog ready, which will have all the features. From this product backlog, you will have a sprint planning session. So this is the sprint planning session which you will have, which you will in which you will have the sprint goal. So goal for this specific 2 weeks of time. So you will have this time bound sprint or time bound duration of the sprint. So sprint duration can be anything from 2 to 4 months, or 2 to 4, not 2 to 4 months. It can be anything from 2 to 4 weeks. So it can be 2 weeks, it can be 3 weeks, or it can be 4 weeks, based on the organization or based on the company which you are working in. So you should have certain goals for specific weeks, that is sprint. You should decide on that goal. Then create sprint backlog, that is the tasks from your backlog items, that is known as user stories or feature. Then again, we'll see in detail what is user story and what is feature. But from time for time being, features are the ones which I said. Like if you want to search a hotel, if you want to filter your search based on the criteria, if you want to select hotel, if you want to do a booking, all these are coming under nothing but features of your product or software. Then you have estimation. So whatever you are going to do, you need to estimate. So there are so many estimation techniques which we can use in sprints or in Scrum. So this needs to be again, these are specific to any company, or these are specific to the project which you are working on. We can discuss if these estimation techniques also, if time permits. Okay. And then once you have all these are the ones which are decided in a sprint planning meeting. So even before, after the product backlog, that is, a number of features are finalized, you will then go to a sprint planning meeting, where everyone will come and you will have planning which will cover all these items. Once you have all these items, then you will, once this is done, based on these features, so based on the features which you select for the sprint, you will have a sprint backlog. So if you see this item in middle, that is nothing but a sprint backlog. So you will definitely not implement all the features inside your product backlog at once, but what you will do is you will select few features from this product backlog in your sprint planning meeting, and those will be sprint backlog. Those are the ones which are going to be implemented. That is known as sprint backlog. So if we go to this slide, this is what it says. It has few features, or few features which are selected. You will select these features, then you will have this sprint backlog created in this, and then you will have your task identified. These are the tasks which are identified under this feature. You will make an estimation. You will have an estimation of what is time duration for performing this task, and then these are done collaborative in a way that all the team, you have developers, you have testers, you have scrum masters, then you have product owner. These will be part of this sprint planning meeting. And high level design, again, a design which is provided by development team, which is also considered. So based on that, you will estimate the efforts which are required for carrying out the sprint, or carrying out or implementing these features. So any doubt till now? Anything which is not clear? किसी को कुछ डाउट है इसमें? No doubts? Someone asked, Abhishek, are you clear with what is a sprint?
Yes, sir.
Sorry, Abhishek. Okay, Abhishek is clear. See, this is very theoretical. I can understand that it is very theoretical, but we will cover it the practical in different sessions. So we have different session in Jira, or we will do it a session in Trello, where I might give you URL also to play with the Jira. You can directly go there. You can see what is a sprint. You can see product backlog. You can see features. You can see user stories. All these you can see in system. Then only you will understand the practical thing, because this is very I mean, this is not very practical. I can understand that. But even if you have any doubts in any of these concepts, because these are the main concepts of scrum or sprint. So like this, so I will go ahead, maybe if no one has any doubt. So you can ask any doubt based on this if you don't understand any simple thing also. Okay, so sprint planning is what we covered. Then we have sprint review. Okay, so before sprint review, we'll go for daily scrum. One second. Okay, so once you have this स्प्रिंट बैकलॉग रेडी, यू नो कि हमें क्या फीचर्स इंप्लीमेंट करना है. सो फॉर एग्जांपल, one second, let me show you, maybe if possible. Okay. Okay, so that's fine. One second, let me find an image which will explain you in better way. Okay, so see, this is a product backlog and this is sprint backlog. Now whatever you have here in product backlog, you will try to map them in a sprint backlog. But one task here in product backlog, it might map to different tasks or stories inside a sprint backlog. So maybe this is not a quite a good example, but let's go ahead. Maybe I can show you in this tutorial itself. One second. Okay. So this is how a product backlog looks like. Okay. Just maybe I will. And this does not show anything, but this is how it is defined. Now this is on a board. So you will have a whiteboard. So in projects, normally you will have boards in your software. So there are softwares which track sprints, which track this Scrum process, like you have Jira or you have Trello. But you can do this on boards also. So if you see this ticking, these are nothing but the features or user stories which you have, the features which you will have in a product backlog, and then you will have certain feature in your sprint backlog as well. So you can create such kind of board. आप लोग ऐसा मतलब whenever you create it this in practical, you can either use a board, whiteboard, or you can either use a software to track uh, this progress. So we'll go into detail, but let's go with the flow. So we see what how we do sprint planning. We were on this phase. So this is nothing but a flow. Now what it does is sprint backlog. Our sprint backlog is clear. We have a list of items which we are going to implement in this particular sprint, in this particular time period of 2 weeks. Say consider example as 2 weeks. So this is a sprint. You will have everything implemented in this sprint. Now how to track it? अगर हम लोग स्प्रिंट में किसी को कुछ टास्क दे दे, फॉर एग्जांपल डेवलपर को हमने कुछ टास्क दिया, से फॉर एग्जांपल क्रिएट अ प्रोग्राम. Okay, create a program for implementation of say search functionality, search hotels with based of filters. Now this is a huge task. अगर उसको कुछ करना है, for example, let's go more practical maybe. One second. Let's go to a site. Okay. Okay. So for example, consider that हमें अगर implement करना है कुछ which is simple. से हमें एक साइट इंप्लीमेंट करना है जहाँ पे हमें होटल सर्च करना है, which will allow you to search hotel. This is very slow. Okay, let's go to this page only. So you have different things here, different filters. आपको कहाँ जाना है? For example, where are you going? This is one functionality that you will search somewhere. I want to go to Goa. Then it should show Goa. And again, the filter. If you see, there is a functionality here that if you search anything, आप अगर यहाँ पे कुछ भी search करोगे, कोई location, then the location should be shown. अगर आप कुछ भी search करोगे, say ABCD, then ABCD is also there, so that is fine. So it should not show actually, but there are some places. But ideally, आपके यहाँ पे एक फीचर है, जैसे कि एक फीचर है implement this search box. तो ये एक हो गया एक फीचर. And when you search certain location, you should get the list of locations here. That is one functionality. Or that is one feature of this software. You should be able to select your start date and your end date. This is one more functionality or one more feature of this software. If we go to third feature, you should be able to enter your age. So your age or number of adults, number of rooms which are required. This is again one more filter. It should display this screen, and this screen should allow to enter the ages of the children, or it will allow to enter, add the adults, then subtract or add or increase or decrease. This should be available. You can add number of rooms, and you can minus the number of rooms as well. Then once you are done, once you click on done, that that whatever changes you have done, it should be present in this box. And then based on this criteria, if you click on search, it will show us a screen with all the hotels which are available within this range, and with this number of people, with this number of rooms. This is how a functionality is there. And then this is a UI of your software. So developing UI is again one more user story or one more feature. So this is how it happens. Now you have 10 different features. Say I have, for this page I have say four different things which are there, or four different features which are available on this page, then what you will do is in your these functionalities or these features should be present in your product backlog. When you do a sprint planning meeting, this is a kind of ceremony or meeting, you will define your sprint backlog that I want in the sprint one, next 2 weeks में मुझे ये box और ये dates इतना ही करना है. Then you have subtasks for these two. To implement this and to implement this, you will have two tasks. मुझे इतना ही काम करना है within a sprint. That is how you finalize the sprint backlog before going into your sprint. That is how it works. So this is one you can say one practical example of any software. You take some features, आप उसका features लेते हो जो प्रोडक्ट ओनर डिफाइन करेगा, और उस फीचर के बेसिस पे आप फीचर को डिवाइड करोगे अलग अलग स्प्रिंट्स में, जो कि स्प्रिंट प्लानिंग जो मीटिंग रहेगा उसका आउटपुट ये रहेगा. ओके, तो हम लोगों ने देखा स्प्रिंट प्लानिंग मीटिंग. स्प्रिंट प्लानिंग में मीटिंग में ये उसके इनपुट्स रहेंगे, ये इनपुट्स के बेसिस पे ये चीज़ें होंगी, और ये चीज़ों को हम लोग देख के हम लोग गोल डिफाइन करेंगे और स्प्रिंट बैकलॉग डिफाइन करेंगे. मतलब ये इसका इनपुट है लेफ्ट साइड में जो पर्पल में है, वो ग्रीन जो दिख रहा है वो इसके अंदर स्प्रिंट प्लानिंग मीटिंग में हम लोग करेंगे. ये मीटिंग 30 मिनट से लेके वन आवर तक रख सकता है. एंड ऑल स्टेक होल्डर्स और ऑल द रोल्स, जो सारे रोल्स है इसमें अवेलेबल रहेंगे ये मीटिंग में. फिर हम लोग डिफाइन करेंगे स्प्रिंट का गोल क्या रहेगा, कि हम क्या डेवलप करना चाहते हैं. जैसे कि अगर इस साइड की बात करेंगे तो इसमें हॉलीडे हॉलीडे सर्च के लिए या होटल सर्च के लिए हम लोग स्क्रीन बनाएंगे. दैट शुड बी आवर स्प्रिंट गोल. स्प्रिंट वन में हम लोग इतना ही काम करेंगे. और स्प्रिंट बैकलॉग में जितने भी फीचर्स, जैसे ये करेंगे वन सेकेंड थर्ड फोर्थ जितना भी, और ये यूआई क्रिएट करेंगे, दैट विल कम अंडर स्प्रिंट बैकलॉग इन डिफरेंट टास्क्स. सो दिस इज व्हाट वी फाइनलाइज्ड एज एन एग्जांपल. ओके, व्हाट वी डू नाउ. अब अभी हमारे पास नंबर ऑफ फीचर्स जो कि इम्प्लीमेंट होने वाले हैं वो स्प्रिंट बैकलॉग में है. नाउ लेट्स गो इनटू डीप इनटू दिस स्प्रिंट. स्प्रिंट जो 2 वीक का ड्यूरेशन का है. फॉर एग्जांपल अगर मैं अभी 13 तारीख को अगर हम लोग स्प्रिंट स्टार्ट करते हैं, ऑटोमेटिकली वो स्प्रिंट एंड होगा 24th को. सो ये सारा प्रोसेस है, ये जो स्प्रिंट ब्लू कलर में दिख रहा है विथ टू एरोज, ये कंप्लीट हो जाएगा 24th को, बिकॉज इट इज, इसको बोलते हैं हम लोग 2 वीक्स का स्प्रिंट. अगर हम लोग 3 वीक का स्प्रिंट रखेंगे तो हम लोग 13 तारीख को स्टार्ट करेंगे तो 31st को एंड होगा. सो दिस इज स्प्रिंट स्टार्ट डेट, इसको बोलते हैं स्प्रिंट स्टार्ट करने का डेट. और 31st हमारा स्प्रिंट एंड डेट होगा जो यहाँ पे आके रुक जाएगा. देन बाय दैट पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम हम लोगों ने जितना भी फीचर्स इसमें डाला है या जितना भी यूजर स्टोरीज इसमें डाला है वो कंप्लीट होना चाहिए. सो हाउ डू वी कीप ट्रैक ऑफ दिस वन. टू कीप ट्रैक ऑफ दिस वन देर आर सो मेनी मीटिंग्स इन प्लेस, राइट. स्प्रिंट प्लानिंग जो मीटिंग था वो स्प्रिंट्स चालू होने से पहले मीटिंग हुआ. अभी अभी रोज का अगर हमें ट्रैक करना है कौन सा मेंबर किस पे काम कर रहा है, कौन सा मेंबर कहाँ काम कर रहा है, कौन सा मेंबर क्या कर रहा है टीम का, वी शुड हैव वन मीटिंग. हमारे पास एक मीटिंग रहना चाहिए जिसको बोलते हैं डेली स्क्रम और डेली स्टैंड अप भी बोलते हैं. टर्मिनोलॉजीज माइट बी डिफरेंट बट इसको आइडियली डेली स्क्रम बोलते हैं. सो विद इन डेली स्क्रम व्हाट वी हैव, डेली स्क्रम में हम लोग क्या करते हैं, हर एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में एक मीटिंग रहता है जिसको बोलते हैं डेली स्क्रम. और जैसे कि अगर ये देखा जाए तो you what you can see is I also have a daily status meeting से, उसमें मैं सारे जो मेरे टीम मेंबर्स हैं उनको ऐड करूंगा. बट ये स्पेसिफिक टू माय टीम है बिकॉज वी आर नॉट वर्किंग ऑन स्क्रम. बट अगर स्क्रम रहेगा तो हमारे पास सारे लोग रहेंगे कि डेवलपर्स, टेस्टर, प्रोडक्ट ओनर और स्क्रम मास्टर, जो कि स्क्रम मास्टर इज द वन जो सब कुछ संभालता है स्क्रम के अंडर क्या क्या होगा. सो वी शुड हैव अ मीटिंग, डेली मीटिंग रहेगा ये, 15 मिनट्स का मीटिंग रहेगा, स्टैंड अप रहेगा. और ये जो मीटिंग रहेगा इसमें हर एक बंदे को, हर एक जो अपना टीम मेंबर है उसको सिर्फ 1 मिनट या 1.5 मिनट ही मिलेगा. उसमें उसको बताना है उसने क्या किया. सो अगर आप लोग सॉफ्टवेयर डेवलपमेंट में जाओगे और जहाँ पे भी स्क्रम यूज कर रहे हैं या जहाँ पे भी अजाइल, सो अजाइल इज अगेन ब्रॉड वर्ड, जहाँ पे स्पेसिफिकली स्क्रम मेथोडोलॉजी यूज कर रहे हैं, तो आपका प्रोजेक्ट में एक मीटिंग रहेगा. वो से डेली बेसिस पे जो मीटिंग होगा उसको डेली स्क्रम बोलेंगे. उसका पैरामीटर्स ये रहेगा, वो स्टैंड अप मीटिंग रहेगा और उसमें सारे लोग इनवाइटेड रहेंगे। अ, उसमें मैक्सिमम जो लोग हैं मेंबर्स, टीम मेंबर्स, स्क्रम मास्टर, प्रोडक्ट ओनर कैन टॉक। अगर बाहर का बंदा कुछ किसी को इनवाइट करते हैं हम लोग, ही कैन नॉट टॉक बिकॉज़ ही इज़ नॉट गोइंग टू गिव स्टेटस। उसने क्या किया है, वो बताने का सिर्फ़ जो परमिशंस रहेगा सिर्फ़ टीम मेंबर, स्क्रम मास्टर और प्रोडक्ट ओनर के पास ही। तो फॉर एग्ज़ाम्पल अगर मुझे एक टास्क मिलता है, अगर मैं हम लोग ये प्रोजेक्ट पे काम कर रहे हैं, मुझे एक टास्क मिलता है कि मुझे ये फंक्शनैलिटी जिसमें हम लोग डेस्टिनेशन सर्च कर सकते हैं, ये मुझे बनाना है। तो मैं डेली स्टेटस जो मीटिंग रहेगा, ये मीटिंग अटेंड करूँगा और मेरा जो स्टार्ट टास्क है, उसका स्टेटस बताऊँगा कि मैंने ये डेवलप करते टाइम मैंने एक क्लास लिखा, या अगर टेस्टर रहेगा, मैं वो बोलेगा कि मैंने टेस्ट केस लिखा या मैंने रिक्वायरमेंट्स स्टडी करना चालू किया। इट कैन बी एनीथिंग। यू नीड टू से इट व्हाट यू हैव डन। सो दैट विल गो नेक्स्ट स्लाइड्स। यहाँ पे कोई भी अननेसेसरी मीटिंग्स नहीं रहेगा। स्क्रम में वी डोंट हैव अननेसेसरी मीटिंग कि जहाँ पे लोगों का टाइम वेस्ट होगा। तो यहाँ पे अननेसेसरी मीटिंग नहीं रहता है। ओनली नेसेसरी मीटिंग इज ऑन डेली बेसिस, यू हैव डेली स्क्रम। नाउ व्हाट यू डू इन दिस मीटिंग, यू नीड टू से व्हाट यू डिड यस्टरडे, तुमने कल क्या काम किया, तुम आज क्या काम करने वाले हो। और अगर तुम्हें काम करने के बीच में, तुम्हारे काम करने के बीच में कुछ ब्लॉकर है, से फॉर एग्जांपल तुम्हारा लैपटॉप खराब हो गया है एंड यू आर नॉट एबल टू वर्क, यू नीड टू से इम्पेडिमेंट्स कि मेरा काम करने पे मुझे ब्लॉकर है कि मेरा लैपटॉप खराब हो गया, या मेरा सॉफ्टवेयर नहीं चल रहा है, या मेरा इंटरनेट नहीं चल रहा है। दिस थिंग्स कैन बी ब्लॉकर्स फॉर यू टू वर्क। और इट कैन बी एनीथिंग लाइक, अगर सॉफ्टवेयर व्यू से बोला जाए कि तो हमारा फंक्शनलिटी ब्लॉक हो गया है किसी बग के वजह से। बग इज अ डिफेक्ट अगेन, सॉफ्टवेयर में कुछ प्रॉब्लम है, उसके वजह से तुम प्रोसीड नहीं कर पा रहे हो, तुम आगे नहीं जा पा रहे हो, दैट इज इम्पेडिमेंट्स, दैट इज ब्लॉकिंग योर वर्क। तो ब्लॉकिंग जो वर्क है तुम्हें बताना पड़ेगा कि दीज थिंग्स आर ब्लॉकिंग माई वर्क, प्लीज हेल्प मी। दैट इज वॉट यू आस्क और यू आंसर इन ये जो डेली स्क्रम मीटिंग है उसमें तुम बताओगे। एंड स्क्रम मास्टर ये मीटिंग को ड्राइव करेगा। स्क्रम मास्टर सबसे पूछेगा, पर्सन वन से पूछेगा व्हाट इज योर स्टेटस, व्हाट इज योर स्टेटस, लाइकवाइज there are status. But the important thing here is these are not status for Scrum Master. Okay, Scrum Master एक बंदा है जो पूरे स्प्रिंट को मैनेज कर रहा है, वो पूरा चीजें देख रहा है, क्या आगे जा रहा है, क्या पीछे जा रहा है, कौन किसको क्या प्रॉब्लम है। दैट इज वर्क ऑफ स्क्रम मास्टर। सो स्क्रम मास्टर इज स्टेटस नहीं देगा कि मैंने कल क्या किया, या बट इट माइट हैपन दैट आपके कंपनी में के कंपनी में ऐसा मॉडल यूज कर रहे हैं लोग कि स्क्रम मास्टर इज वन ऑफ योर डेवलपर, स्क्रम मास्टर ही डेवलपर है या स्क्रम मास्टर ही टेस्टर है, then he need to provide the status. So that is how it works. So let's not waste time on this one. Let's go to next meeting. Now this is what happens on daily basis in this circle. ये जो दो एरोज है सर्कुलर, इसमें Scrum Master on daily basis he will track. That is why it is written daily Scrum. This will track on daily basis till till the duration, जो sprint का duration रहेगा 2 weeks का, 3 weeks का, 4 weeks का, उसके अंदर उसको सब track करना है, क्या wrong जा रहा है, क्या सही है, track में है क्या। That will see how it is done normally, how it opens the boards and everything. But once this is done, now आपका जो 2 weeks का cycle है, 3 weeks का cycle है या 4 weeks का cycle है, that is over. Then you will have another meeting, that is sprint review. So that is how sprint review meeting takes place. Sprint review meeting में क्या होता है, जो भी चीजें हम लोग 2 weeks के टाइम ड्यूरेशन में कर पाए, जो भी accomplishment है कि हम लोगों ने ये फीचर डेवलप किया, हम लोगों ने ये टास्क कंप्लीट किया, फिर ये डिफेक्ट्स ढूंढा है, या कुछ भी रह सकता है। तो दैट चीजें, दो वो जो चीजें हैं तुम्हें बतानी है कि दीज आर द अकम्पलिशमेंट। तुम डेमो भी दिखा सकते हो कि हम लोगों ने देखो ये फीचर डेवलप किया है, दिस इज हाउ इट विल वर्क, यहाँ पे ऐसा होगा, इसका फीचर्स ऐसे है। और वो सारे लोगों को आप दिखाओगे, डेमो पे दिखाओगे कि वहाँ पे तुम लोग सब लोग रहेंगे। फॉर एग्जांपल प्रोजेक्ट मैनेजर्स रहेंगे, डायरेक्टर्स, it can be clients also. So कुछ कुछ ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस में ऐसे हो सकता है कि क्लाइंट ऑल्सो पार्टिसिपेट्स इन स्प्रिंट रिव्यू. क्लाइंट इज ऑल्सो पार्ट ऑफ दीज डेली मीटिंग्स. वो देखेगा रेगुलर बेसिस पे कि क्या हो रहा है टीम में, कौन सा फीचर आप लोगों ने डेवलप किया, एंड ही वांट्स टू सी द डेमो. सो वो ये मीटिंग में बैठेगा और वो डेमो खुद देखेगा, देन ही विल पास हिज ओन फीडबैक. दैट इज व्हाट द नंबर वन डिस्टिंक्शन बिटवीन अजाइल एंड वाटरफॉल. वाटरफॉल में आप लोगों ने देखा कि स्टार्ट में रिक्वायरमेंट गैदरिंग करने के बाद जब तक वो प्रोडक्ट डिलीवर नहीं होता है कस्टमर को, तब तक क्लाइंट को पता ही नहीं चलता क्या हुआ है. उ- तो इसमें बिल्कुल अलग है. दैट इज व्हाई इट इज नोन एज अजाइल. अजाइल मतलब कंसिस्टेंटली आपका चेंजेस जो है क्लाइंट को पता चलता है, क्लाइंट पार्टिसिपेट्स इन दिस मीटिंग, एंड क्लाइंट गिव यू फीडबैक कि मुझे ऐसा नहीं चाहिए, ये बॉक्स ऐसा नहीं चाहिए, मुझे ये बॉक्स ए साइड पे चाहिए. देन these are the output, or these are the main feedback which you get from client. Client से आपको ये feedback मिला, आपको implement करना है. That is how agile works. So if we go back to the diagram, let's go back to diagram. This is the diagram. आपको जो भी चीजें मिला है, whatever you have completed, you show it to client, you get your demo to all stakeholders. Stakeholders मतलब जो भी सारे लोग हैं आपके पार्टिसिपेंट्स हैं, इंजीनियर्स है, प्रोडक्ट ओनर है, उसको आप दिखाओगे. ये बहुत बड़ा मीटिंग रहता है क्योंकि इसमें डेमो रहता है. ये 2 आवर्स तक जा सकता है. आपको प्रिपरेशन करने के लिए टाइम भी देते हैं. एंड यहाँ पे नो स्लाइड्स हैं, मतलब यहाँ पे आप जैसे मैं प्रेजेंट कर रहा हूँ, आप वैसे प्रेजेंट नहीं करोगे. आप बोलोगे कि ये मेरा रिक्वायरमेंट था और ये मेरा फीचर है और ये चीज़ मैंने डेवलप किया है. आप इसको करके दिखाओगे कि ये फंक्शनलिटी ऐसे वर्क हो रहा है, देखो इसमें मैं अगर गोवा डालता हूँ, गोवा का ही डेस्टिनेशन आता है. देन इसमें अगर मैं कुछ भी नहीं डालता हूँ, से प्लस साइन माइनस साइन डालता हूँ, तो कुछ नहीं आना चाहिए. फिर भी आ रहा है बिकॉज इट इज मैचिंग एक्चुअली. तो ऐसा हो सकता है. दिस हाउ यू डू टेस्टिंग. ओके, बट टेस्टिंग इज डिफरेंट थिंग. बट आपका जो प्रोडक्ट ओनर रहेगा, ही माइट प्रेजेंट दिस टू योर management also in this meeting. So this is a really good meeting, that is known as sprint review meeting. Now एक बार आपका स्प्रिंट रिव्यू हो गया, नाउ वी आर दिस इज एंडेड. स्प्रिंट रिव्यू का आउटपुट ये रहेगा कि आपको इंक्रीमेंट मिलेगा. इंक्रीमेंट इज द नंबर ऑफ फीचर्स जो आपने डेवलप कंप्लीट किया है, दैट इज अ लिस्ट. वो इसको इंक्रीमेंट बोलते हैं. सो दैट इज ऑल्सो स्प्रिंट टर्म या स्क्रम वाला टर्म है. नाउ नेक्स्ट मीटिंग इज स्प्रिंट रेट्रोस्पेक्टिव्स. सो रेट्रोस्पेक्टिव इज नथिंग बट ये एक मीटिंग है जो आपके स्प्रिंट रिव्यू के बाद एक मीटिंग रहेगा. सिर्फ फॉर एग्जांपल, स्प्रिंट रिव्यू का जो आउटपुट है और इंक्रीमेंट है, दैट विल गो टू अ स्प्रिंट रेट्रोस्पेक्टिव मीटिंग. नाउ स्प्रिंट रेट्रोस्पेक्टिव मतलब क्या? रेट्रोस्पेक्टिव इज आप कुछ भी काम कर रहे हो, उसके बाद में आपको बताना है कि उसमें वो स्प्रिंट में, ये 2 वीक में क्या सही गया, क्या सही काम सही से हुआ, लर्निंग्स, आपका लर्निंग्स रहेगा, क्या सही से नहीं हुआ, क्या प्रॉपर नहीं हुआ, क्यों नहीं हुआ, और उसको आप कैसे सुधारोगे. सो मेनली ये 30 मिनट्स का डिस्कशन रहेगा. इसमें भी होल टीम पार्टिसिपेट करता है, जैसे स्क्रम मास्टर, प्रोडक्ट ओनर, टीम. पॉसिबल है कि कस्टमर भी अपना पॉइंट्स इसमें डाले अगर उसको इज इनवाइटेड. सो इफ यू सी व्हाट इज एंड नॉट, व्हाट इज वर्किंग एंड व्हाट इज नॉट वर्किंग. और इसमें ऐसा रहता है कि आपका लर्निंग्स भी आप डॉक्यूमेंट करोगे. डॉक्यूमेंट्स करने के लिए भी डिफरेंट सॉफ्टवेयर है, जैसे कि आप कॉन्फ्लुएंस करके एक एटलेशियन का ही एक प्रोडक्ट है जो आप यूज़ कर सकते हो, जहाँ पे आप लिख सकते हो कि क्या सही गया, क्या रॉन्ग गया. वी कैन सी दैट. ओके, सो सच अ वे इट इज ऑल्सो डॉक्यूमेंट. दिस इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट बिकॉज स्प्रिंट रेट्रोस्पेक्टिव का जो होगा, 1 सेकेंड, गिव मी 1 सेकेंड.
Guys, sorry to interrupt, Anand sir. I'll give you one simple example. जैसे सर बोल रहे हैं कि क्लाइंट का इन्वॉल्वमेंट रहता है फ्रॉम द वेरी बिगिनिंग टिल द एंड. ओके, इसका मतलब क्या है? जैसे मैं एक सिंपल सा एग्जांपल दूंगा. आई एम नॉट श्योर वेदर इट इज अ राइट एग्जांपल और नॉट, बट सी लेट्स से आप ठेले में जाके, रोड साइड ठेले में जाके चाट खाते हो. देन यू गो टू अ रेस्टोरेंट, यू ऑल्सो ऑर्डर चाट ओवर देयर. लेट्स से आलू चाट या समोसा चाट कुछ भी ऑर्डर करते हो. वो रेस्टोरेंट में क्या होता है, बैकग्राउंड में उनका जो किचन है ना, you do not have access to that particular kitchen. They prepare that chart for you, आलू चाट, समोसा चाट, whatever chart you want. उसके बाद सीधा आपको डिलीवर करते हैं, बेसिकली सर्व करते हैं आके. तब आप बोलते हो अरे यार मैंने बोला था स्पाइसी कम करने के लिए, ये कम करने के लिए, वो कम करने के लिए। आप पुनः आप उसको नॉर्मली क्या बोलते हो कि अरे सही नहीं आपने बनाया है, टेस्ट भी बेकार लग रहा है, मुझे खट्टा सही नहीं लग रहा है, मीठा भी सही नहीं है, मतलब जो प्रोपोर्शन यू आर एक्सपेक्टिंग इट इज नॉट देयर प्रॉपर, क्योंकि उसने ऑलरेडी डिलीवर कर दिया। दैट इज समथिंग व्हिच इज अजाइल वाटरफॉल मॉडल। बट आप ठेले में जब आप नॉर्मली चाट ऑर्डर करते हो ना, उसको बोलते हो कि नहीं नहीं उसको, बिकॉज आपका इन्वॉल्वमेंट रहता है, आप सामने देखते हो कि चाट बन रहा है आपके सामने, इतना हो गया, चलो वो आलू का लेयर डाल दिया, उसके बाद अच्छा समोसा डाल रहा है, आप बोलो कि इधर थोड़ा धनिया डाल दो, इधर चाट मसाला डालो, स्पाइसी मतलब थोड़ा मिर्ची पाउडर थोड़ा कम करो। योर इन्वॉल्वमेंट इज देयर फ्रॉम द वेरी बिगिनिंग टिल द एंड। जब तक एंड प्रोडक्ट वो चार्ट आपको देता है, तब तक आपका इन्वॉल्वमेंट स्टार्ट टू एंड रहता है। सो आपके हिसाब से आप ना बार बार रिक्वायरमेंट चेंज करके, आपने पहले बोला था, बोला होगा कुछ, बट बाद में यू कुड हैव चेंज्ड इट। ओके, मुझे ये चाहिए, मुझे ये थोड़ा कम कर दो, ये थोड़ा ज्यादा कर दो, इसका क्वांटिटी कम करो। सो दिस इज, आई मीन, सिंस यू आर गेटिंग इन्वॉल्व फ्रॉम द वेरी बिगिनिंग टिल द एंड, सो यू विल डेफिनेटली गेट अ बेस्ट प्रोडक्ट डिलीवर्ड। जैसे कि हम लोग बोलते हैं ना, व्हाट्सएप, व्हाट्सएप में जैसे बोले कि इंक्रीमेंटली होता है व्हाट्सएप, जब फर्स्ट टाइम डिलीवर हुआ था व्हाट्सएप में, और इट डिडंट हैव ऑल द फीचर्स। बेसिक फीचर जो था, लेट्स से मैसेजिंग, हम लोग चैट करते थे पहले, मैसेज करते थे, दैट केम विथ वेरी बेसिक फीचर, दैट इज मैसेजिंग फीचर। उसके बाद ऑडियो कॉलिंग है, उसके बाद वीडियो कॉलिंग है, देन कंटिन्यूअसली वीडियो कॉलिंग के ऊपर भी काफी ग्रुप कॉल आया, ग्रुप चैट आया। देन व्हाट्सएप में पेमेंट भी हम लोग यूपीआई जैसा यूपीआई वगैरह ट्रांसफर कर पा रहे। दिस इज व्हाट एवरीथिंग वुड हैव बीन डेवलप्ड इन एजाइल। अगर वाटरफॉल में जो प्रॉब्लम सर ने बोला कि आपने बोल दिया रिक्वायरमेंट, उन्होंने काम करना चालू कर दिया, आपका इन्वॉल्वमेंट बीच में बिल्कुल नहीं है, एंड प्रोडक्ट जब आपके पास आएगा आप खुश नहीं हो तब देख के, और यू कैन नॉट गो बैक टू द, जैसे कि रेस्टोरेंट में बोला, एक बार उन्होंने बना के आपको डिलीवर कर दिया, तब यू कैन नॉट गो बैक टू देम कि अरे मैंने ये बोला था वो बोला था, क्योंकि अभी उतना टाइम नहीं रहेगा, और आपके पास ना टाइम रहेगा ना उनके पास पैसा रहेगा। फिर अगर आपको फिर से चार्ट फ्रेश बनाना है, देन वो बोलेंगे कि आप बोलो कि नहीं यार मुझे अभी टाइम नहीं है, बहुत टाइम हो गया, मैं अभी और 1 घंटा बैठ नहीं सकता यहाँ पे तुम्हारा चाट खाने के लिए, मैं जा रहा हूँ। वो भी हिचकिचाएंगे, सेइंग दैट कोई वी डू नॉट हैव, फिर से हम लोग को चाट ये बनाएंगे तो ये मटेरियल अपना वेस्ट है, राइट? सो इज दिस आनंद सर, इज दिस समवॉट रिलेटेड?
Yeah, exactly. Yes. So, जो शंकर ने एक्सप्लेन किया, दैट इज एग्जैक्टली व्हाट अजाइल इज। आप कंटिन्यूसली फीडबैक पास कर, कस्टमर कंटिन्यूसली फीडबैक पास कर रहा है, आप उसके हिसाब से एप्लीकेशन को ऐड कर रहे हो, सब्ट्रैक्ट कर रहे हो, मॉडिफाई कर रहे हो, जो चाहिए आप कर रहे हो। जो उसने भेलपुरी का एग्जांपल दिया, फॉर एग्जांपल चार्ट का एग्जांपल दिया, यू कैन डू इट इजीली। तो दैट इज अ गुड एग्जांपल इन रियल वर्ल्ड। आपका रियल वर्ल्ड में भी आप कंटिन्यूसली उसको फीडबैक दे रहे हो, उसको बोल रहे हो ये नहीं चाहिए, मुझे ये चाहिए। कस्टमर ऑल्सो वैसे ही करता है। कस्टमर जब ये कॉल्स में जाता है, तो ये जो थेरोटिकल है, ये एक्चुअली इम्प्लीमेंटेशन भी होता है। ऐसे नहीं है कि ये जो कंसेप्ट है, स्प्रिंट्स का प्रोट्रोस्पेक्टिव या स्प्रिंट प्लानिंग, बैकलॉग, ये जो रोल्स है, ये एक्चुअल में रोल्स है। तो वो रोल्स की वजह से आप इतना इजीली अजाइल वे में सॉफ्टवेयर बना रहे हो कि वो सॉफ्टवेयर आप किसी भी स्टेप पे चेंज कर सकते हो। सेम वे आलू चाट के जैसे ही सॉफ्टवेयर चेंज होगा, बट उसका कुछ कंडीशंस रहेगा। उतना इजीली वो होगा नहीं। आपका जो ये है, आपका जो कस्टमर और आपके बीच में जो एग्रीमेंट होता है, वो भी बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है कि आप कितनी बार वो रिक्वायरमेंट को मॉडिफाई कर सकते हो। बट आइडियली, जैसे शंकर ने बोला, वैसे ही होता है कि आपको इतना कंटिन्यूअस फीडबैक कस्टमर का मिलके आपका सॉफ्टवेयर कंटिन्यूअसली एनहांस होते रहता है। और दैट इज व्हाट कस्टमर वांट्स। कस्टमर को जो चाहिए, ही कैन इजीली पुट इन इन कॉल्स और इन मीटिंग्स। जबकि अजाइल में ये सब अजाइल में होता है, बट वाटरफॉल में आपके कस्टमर को वेट करना पड़ता है टिल लास्ट डे। सो जैसे मैंने बोला कि 10 महीने का प्रोजेक्ट है। अगर उसने स्टार्ट किया, कस्टमर ने रिक्वायरमेंट्स दे दिया, किसी को जैसे समझा उसने डेवलप किया, और जैसे सजा समझा वैसे वो लोगों ने इम्प्लीमेंट किया। उसके बाद कस्टमर को दिया, कस्टमर के हाथ में जाने के बाद उसको समझ में आता है कि एक्चुअली दिस इज नॉट व्हाट द कस्टमर वाज इंटेंडिंग। So this is how it works. That is how it works in Agile also. Okay. So I think there was an example which I missed here. One second. ओके, सो इफ यू सी दिस डायग्राम, सिंपल लैंग्वेज में आपको प्रोडक्ट दिखेगा, प्रोडक्ट बैकलॉग बहुत बड़ा है, सो मेनी आइटम्स आर देयर। इसमें से कुछ आइटम्स, प्रोडक्ट बैकलॉग मतलब सारे रिक्वायरमेंट्स कस्टमर के जो प्रोजेक्ट स्पेसिफिक है, तो ये सारे रिक्वायरमेंट्स आप ले रहे हो, और फिर सारे रिक्वायरमेंट्स आपके प्रोडक्ट बैकलॉग में जाएंगे, सिस्टम में जाएंगे, या कहीं पे भी आप लिख के रख रहे हो, जैसे कि मैंने व्हाइट बोर्ड पे बताया, व्हाइट बोर्ड पे भी ये लिखे हुए हो सकते हैं। उसमें से आपके एक स्प्रिंट अब जब स्टार्ट करने वाले हो उसके जस्ट पहले आपको इसमें से कुछ चीज़ें निकालनी होंगी, और वो आपका बन जाएगा स्प्रिंट बैकलॉग, और इसी को आप इम्प्लीमेंट करोगे। कंटिन्यूअसली यही प्रोसेस होगा जब तक आपके सारे प्रोडक्ट फीचर्स कंप्लीट नहीं हो जाते, एंड देन यू शिप। शिप मतलब आप कस्टमर को ये प्रोडक्ट दे देते हो। दैट इज हाउ इट वर्क्स। ओके, तो एनी एनीथिंग विच एनीवन वांट्स टू आस्क, किसी को कुछ पूछना है? मे बी एनी क्वेश्चन? वी वेर हियर, एनी क्वेश्चन? Okay, I think we have exceeded time. Shankar, what should we do? We should continue or we should stop?
I think we can stop. We can have it tomorrow. We can continue it tomorrow.
Okay,
So
Abhishek has some question. What is, one second, let me check. What is the difference between Scrum and catch-up call? Catch-up call is a common word, and Scrum call is specific to Scrum. So, आपका जो स्क्रम कॉल होता है वो पूरे स्क्रम के मेंबर्स के लिए होता है। फॉर एग्जांपल, आई कैन शो यू व्हाट इज अ कैचअप कॉल। कैचअप कॉल कैसे रहेगा? आपको अगर किसी के साथ पर्सनली कैचअप करना है, दैट विल बी अ कैचअप कॉल। और या तो फॉर एग्जांपल, मेरा एक टीम है, से मेरे अंडर जितने लोग हैं क्यूए में, उनका एक टीम रहेगा, और वो लोग से फॉर एग्जांपल इतने लोग हैं जो सारे टेस्टर्स हैं, दे आर ऑल क्यूएस, वो उनके साथ मैं कैचअप कर रहा हूँ। दैट इज अ कैचअप कॉल विच इज स्पेसिफिक टू माई एरिया। बट स्क्रम कॉल कैसे रहेगा? अभी यहाँ पे स्क्रम कॉल का एक ये नहीं है, बट स्क्रम कॉल में कैसे रहेगा? सारे लोग आएंगे, सारे डोमेन से या सारे एरियाज से। उसमें डेवलपर्स रहेंगे, टेस्टर्स रहेंगे, प्रोडक्ट ओनर्स रहेंगे, और स्क्रम मास्टर रहेगा। तो स्क्रम मास्टर सारे कैचअप कॉल्स में नहीं रहता है। सो स्क्रम मास्टर स्पेसिफिकली स्क्रम के लिए डिजाइंड टर्मिनोलॉजी है। स्क्रम मास्टर इज द वन जो सिर्फ स्क्रम कॉल में रहेगा, या स्क्रम के जो सारे सेरेमनीज है उसमें रहेगा। सो देयर इज अ लॉट ऑफ डिफरेंस बिटवीन स्क्रम एंड कैचअप।
और एक चीज हम लोग बोल सकते हैं, जैसे कि ये स्क्रम कैचअप का तो हो गया, बट अगर प्रोडक्ट बैकलॉग और स्क्रम बैकलॉग में डिफरेंस क्या है? सपोज मुझे talented.in का साइट बनाना है, लेट्स से वेबसाइट मुझे डेवलप करना है। सो मैंने किसी को, कोई एक वेंडर को काम दिया, मैंने बोला कि मुझे क्या चाहिए, होम पेज चाहिए, वेयर वेलकम टू talented, एंड द मेन कोर्सेज व्हाट वी आर ऑफरिंग आर लाइक हाईलाइट कोर्सेज, लेट्स से डाटा एनालिटिक्स, ऑटोमेशन टेस्टिंग और मास्टर इन जावा। देन मुझे एक डिटेल्ड कोर्स पेज बनाना है जहाँ पे पूरा मेरा मास्टर कोर्सेज रहेगा, मॉड्यूलर कोर्सेज रहेगा, समर कोर्सेज रहेगा, देन आई हैव फीस डिटेल्स, then faculty details about us, everything. These are the kind of my requirements to be developed. So ये सब जाएंगे प्रोडक्ट बैकलॉग में। अगर आपको जो नेक्स्ट स्प्रिंट सर ने बोला कि स्प्रिंट इज फॉर 2 वीक्स, 2 वीक्स में मैंने बोला कि मुझे खाली, मैं अगर www.talented.in वेबसाइट में एक ब्राउजर में लिख दूं, देन आई शुड गेट माई होम पेज फर्स्ट। मुझे पहले होम पेज दिखा दो, वेलकम टू talented, देन दीज आर द कोर्सेज हैव बीन ऑफर्ड। इतना करके मुझे लाइव कर दो साइट। उसके बाद नेक्स्ट स्प्रिंट में आप एक काम करो, कोर्स डिटेल डाल दो, उसके बाद फीस डिटेल एक टैब डाल दो, फिर उसके उसके बाद वाला जो स्प्रिंट है, यू कैन पुट सम अदर डिटेल्स लाइक दैट। सो इंक्रीमेंटली ऐसा डेवलप होके जाएगा। सो दैट इज एवरीथिंग विल गो इनटू प्रोडक्ट बैकलॉग, एंड 2 हफ्ते में आपको एक स्प्रिंट में आपको टैब क्या डेवलप करना है, दैट शुड गो इनटू स्प्रिंट बैकलॉग बेस्ड ऑन द कस्टमर रिक्वायरमेंट एंड प्रायोरिटी क्या है कस्टमर का, कस्टमर पहले क्या करना चाहता है, व्हाट आई मीन विथ व्हाट फीचर्स this site should go live, sorry. Yeah, that's right, correct?
एग्जैक्टली। सो सारी चीज़ें कस्टमर ड्रिवन ही होगी। जैसे कि प्रोडक्ट ओनर है, ही विल डायरेक्टली टॉक विद कस्टमर, वो प्रायोरिटाइज करेगा। जैसे कि हम लोगों ने देखा, प्रोडक्ट ओनर का काम है फीचर्स को प्रायोरिटाइज करे। तो जैसे ही शंकर ने बोला, अगर कोई वेबसाइट है उसमें 4 फीचर्स हैं, पहले इंट्रोडक्शन का पेज, उसके बाद में और डिटेल, उसके बाद में और डिटेल्स, तो कस्टमर बोलेगा कि मुझे सिर्फ इंट्रोडक्शन का पेज करके दिखाओ, सो दैट इज अ फीचर। और वो फीचर प्रोडक्ट ओनर प्रायोरिटाइज करेगा, देन इट बिकम्स कैंडिडेट फॉर। और वो सिर्फ जो प्रोडक्ट बैकलॉग रहेगा उसका भी प्रायोरिटाइज्ड बैकलॉग रहता है। जो आइटम्स रहेंगे एक के ऊपर एक ऐसे रहेंगे। सो उसमें अगर 10 फीचर्स है तो 10 फीचर्स का प्रायोरिटी सेम नहीं रहेगा। तो जीरा में या कोई भी टूल में जब आप ये फीचर्स देखोगे तो हर एक फीचर का एक प्रायोरिटाइज रहेगा, या उसका एक ये टर्म है, आई डोंट रिमेम्बर इट, दैट शुड बी ऑन टॉप। जो भी मैक्सिमम प्रायोरिटी वाला रहेगा, अगर उसका प्रायोरिटी मैक्सिमम है कि उसको इंट्रोडक्शन पेज ही चाहिए स्टार्ट में, तो दैट विल गो टू टॉप, रैंकिंग बोलते हैं उसको। सो वन विथ फर्स्ट रैंक विल गो टू टॉप, उसके नीचे फिर सेकंड, फिर थर्ड, फिर फोर्थ, लाइकवाइज प्रायोरिटी इज लाइकवाइज दिस। एंड देन उसको पिकअप करते टाइम भी प्रोडक्ट ओनर स्क्रम मास्टर से बात करेगा जब मीटिंग्स में, देन डेफिनेटली प्रोडक्ट ओनर बोलेगा कि मुझे ये फीचर्स स्प्रिंट 1 में चाहिए। देन it becomes a scrum backlog, so scrum के backlogs में आएंगे और then people will start working on it. This is how it will works. Okay, okay, so this is this, yeah.
Yeah, I think we should
Yeah, so
we should stop the
maybe
call.
rest of the topics, and we'll see Jira, how we implement sprint in Jira, or maybe we can see Trello also. So ये बहुत सारे tools हैं जो स्प्रिंट को या अजाइल को इम्प्लीमेंट कर सकते हैं। देर आर सो मेनी। रैली करके भी टूल है एक। तो सारी कंपनीज जीरा नहीं यूज़ करती, सारी कंपनीज, बहुत सारी कंपनीज रैली भी यूज़ करती हैं, बहुत सारी कंपनीज ओपन सोर्स भी यूज़ करती है, अपना अपना भी टूल बना के रखा है। सो विल गो थ्रू मे बी फ्यू एग्जाम्पल्स, कैसे फीचर्स होता है, फिर उसका रैंकिंग कैसे रहता है, फिर हाउ हाउ डू दे सिलेक्ट इट, सिलेक्ट करने के बाद में उसमें प्रोग्रेस कैसे मेंटेन करते हैं। विल सी ऑल दीज थिंग्स विथ हेल्प ऑफ सम एग्जांपल्स, ओके, टुमारो। ओके, सो आई थिंक विल स्टॉप हियर। सो थैंक यू, थैंक्स लॉट फॉर योर टाइम।
Thank you, sir.
थैंक यू, बाय।
Thank you.
Thanks, Anand.